Here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, the rain continues to threaten, but the biggest threat right now to everybody else is that man right there, Scott Pruett. He has about a second lead over Marcus Ambrose. They have checked out on third place Max Pappas. He is another 4.3 seconds behind. Let's get an update on the weather situation. Pit lane, Jack Pruett.
Well, fellas, it is beginning to spit here on pit road, and they are big drops. And that's one of the reasons why you're not seeing anybody pit as early as we anticipated. Why bother when they feel that rain is coming, and there will be that NASCAR caution. If the rain does come, as we said before, they're going to get 3 minutes to make the changeover to rain tires and to windshield wipers. So right now, everybody's riding on the edge just a little bit. It's beginning to rain everywhere, and umbrellas are coming out.
Yeah, they're popping up faster than dandelions in my yard.
Okay, this is where these drivers need to be careful right now. They're on slick tires. It's starting to rain. The rain's coming from the hairpin turn, blowing down towards turn 1 and 2 in that direction. Same direction these cars are going right now. So, man, this is a tough time because the umbrellas are out. Drivers are probably screaming to their crew chiefs what's going on. And
we talked about the fact that lap 6, if you believed that you could go 34 laps, that would open up your window to make it in 2 stops. But as we so aptly pointed out from pit lane with Jack, nobody's going to come in right now because you don't know when NASCAR could throw the yellow.
A lot of these guys are also using these race cars up. We see these rotors early on here just glowing red.
Let's take a look at Jacques Villeneuve as he comes down through, and we'll get a good shot of his tires. Take a look at his brakes.
We'll get another shot here. Yeah, take a look at that solid red. Folks, we're only 6 laps into the race, and these drivers have got very, very hot brakes already. Caution's out.
A full course yellow has flown here on lap number 7. And the rain is falling. And now the question becomes, do we make history in the NASCAR Nationwide Series?
And we could make history today because this is the perfect scenario. Not real hard rain, but rain here at Montreal. And I tell you what, there's not many drivers out there, guys, that got experience racing in the rain.
You know what? These ringers that are in the group, they all have raced in the rain. And I'm sure Marcus has too. So this might just take these ringers farther away than from the other guys.
Yeah, it could be a 7-car race, basically, and then everybody else could be just a matter of survival. Let's go back to Japan, to Suzuka, because remember the exhibition where you, Randy, and you, Rusty, were both involved.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I went to Suzuka that day and qualified in the rain, and we were slipping and sliding all over the place, and there's Dale Earnhardt Sr. off course, bouncing around through the track, but got back on, did a pretty good job, but it took us a while to figure out how to race in the rain.
Well, what happens is, what we see is you follow the tracks in front of you, and if the guy in front of you went off, hey, you were going to go off.
Well, and this was Watkins Glen, where this was a practice session. It ended up not being run in the rain, but those are the 2 times when the rain tires have been broken out, and you can see the raindrops falling a lot heavier now. And we're waiting for word from NASCAR officials as to what the next step will be here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
Marty, they got the windshield wipers, they got all the stuff they need, but the biggest problem these guys are going to have is fogging the inside of the car up. There's a lot of humidity, and it gets to where the windshield, Randy, gets so fogged up you can't even drive the car, you can't see.
You almost need a defogger.
I don't really think there's many NASCAR guys, nationwide teams that are really prepared big time for rain here.
For more, let's check in with Jack Pruett.
Well, let's answer Rusty Wallace's question first. Rusty, you're talking about the fog in the inside. What they do is they add the anti-fog on the inside of the windshield. They add it on the outside of the windshield. They also, most of the drivers started with some cloths stuffed underneath the seat so they can wash away some of that condensation when it comes in. But I want to show you these rain tires. Now, these aren't untried or untested as you saw in the video. According to Goodyear and according to what the teams have been told, this is the heavy rain tire that Goodyear once used in road racing. They have a medium and they have a lightweight and they have a heavy, and this was for heavier cars. But as we said at the beginning, we're about to see history made because never in actual race conditions have they been used. And a lot of the teams, one of the other things that they did in preparation for this rain, what about radio communication? Well, they've got spare radios and they've wrapped them in plastic, so if the condensation in the rain, as you see, starts to get really bad, I may lose my RF equipment, but most likely the drivers won't.
Well, I can remember back to Sebring one year where the fog was so bad in the BMWs. Hans Stuck, they gave him one of those squeegees with a big long handle on it. He'd shift, reach down, grab the squeegee, clean the window, shift, grab the squeegee, clean the window. but that was Hans Stuck, and he was a rain master. Right now, we have had no windshield wipers obviously mounted at this time, so as NASCAR said, they would give them a period of time where they would be able to mount the tires and the windshield wipers. Let's get more from pit lane. Mike Massaro.
And Marty, certainly not everybody wants to see these rain tires used, but Brad Barrett, Mike, your driver has a ton of experience in the rain. How does this affect your chances?
Scott, he does a great job with everything during the rain. You know, the Grand Am races and everything he does. You know, it's all about rain in those Grand Am races. And Timmy Keene told me that I had the best driver out here for sure in the rain. But I can't thank this Fastenal crew enough for everything they've done with this race car. Thank Brian Patty back at home for giving me this race car, this same car that Pruett ran at Mexico last year. And just can't thank everybody at the shop and the motor department especially. We got some horsepower this weekend.
What is NASCAR telling you about the procedure right now?
Procedure is, you know, I think we'll red flag it here the next lap. When we get everybody has a set of rain tires up on the wall. They'll bring us to the pits. We have 3 minutes to put our windshield wiper on, hook our debogger up, make sure our brake lights are working and everything in the rear window, and then we'll put them back in line and we'll go racing again. This is new to everybody, you know. I know NASCAR racing's fun and everything, but, you know, we got a lot of equipment, you know, pit guns and everything that's never performed in the rain, like the Grand Am cars and the Indy cars and everything. So really don't know, you know, how our equipment's going to perform for sure. So everybody at Fastenal and everybody involved in this race team has been awesome.
Well, Vince, this may be new for everyone, but it seems to be more new for some than others.
With Gary Cogswell, he's the crew chief for Marcus Ambrose, and right now he's giving instructions to his crew in regards to what each crew member will do during this pit stop that's going to include changing the tires. You see Cogswell, everybody trying, as Brad Barrett said, to keep their equipment dry as well. They're going to pull the rubbers out of the rear springs as he's given there, and we're going to give Gary Cogswell a moment. We'll come back and get to him.
Yeah, he looks like he's quite busy. Although, okay. there you see. Let's go back down to you, Vince. It looks like he's done.
All right, Gary, I know a lot of communication on the radio. What can you do beyond putting on the rain tires and the windshield wiper?
We can make a lot of adjustments as long as we don't jack the car up. You know, basically your car to run fast on a dry track is way too stiff to run on a wet track. So we're trying to do what we can do without dialing ourselves right out of contention for later in the race at the same time. So it's a bit of a guessing game, a bit of a gamble on what's going to happen, what the weather is going to be like in another hour. But we're going to go down our road, and hopefully it'll pay off for us in the end. Mark's done a great job. Thanks to STP, Ford, Tad, and Jody Geschechter. Great race team.
There you go, guys. That's what you can do for now. We'll see. A lot of questions yet to be answered.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. As you can see, it is very, very wet out on the racetrack right now. And in fact, we had a report that one of the cars managed to slide off. And we've got several cameras down right now because of lightning in their proximity. And we obviously also have to take into consideration safety.
You know, we talked about racing in the rain, Marty, but you know, if the rain is pretty light, I believe these guys will be fine. But if the rain is real hard, I don't believe NASCAR continue at the moment, because if you get big standing water on the racetrack, even the rain tires won't handle that. It'd be a tough deal.
And we do have what happens when you have slicks when it starts to get wet. That's 61 of Stan Barrett right there going around. No harm though. Yeah, a little bit. Oh, that poor guardrail. And then take a look here. Are we going to do this again? Yep, guess so.
He must just think he's stunt driving all over again.
Yeah, Stan, a famous stunt driver.
Rusty, we did this at Pocono one year. Remember rain during Pocono? We ran around about 15 laps under the rain. Bobby Allison got crashed.
All right, well, they are bringing the cars into pit lane. You see the red flag being held at pit in. So we're going to stop things here and wait for everybody, as we heard, to get the rain tires mounted and ready. And as they pull into pit lane, we're only at lap 8 of 74 here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. It is Scott Pruett in first, Marcus Ambrose second, Max Pappas third, Patrick Carpentier fourth, and Jacques Villeneuve rounding out your top 5.